Okay guys, welcome back. Got the Dragon here with Dragon Works. This is the moment you've all been waiting for. Well, maybe it's just the moment I've been waiting for, because yeah, I can't wait to get this done and out of my shop here. Okay, so anyway, where we left off was I was waiting on the oil and a battery for this bike after doing all the repairs. And excuse me, I got to walk around some other bikes here. Shop's full. I know this thing don't look like much, but yeah, it ran good when parked, right? But anyway, without further ado, I got my helper here holding the clutch. I'm going to try this with one hand. The customer brought me this battery, but it's been known not to hold charge and it's not very good. He somehow got it charged up. I've had it on a charger here for a while. It's saying 90%. That should be enough. These things like a lot of voltage because it's electronic, fuel injected and ignition and all that stuff. So yeah, they like a lot of power to start up, but let's give it a shot. Okay, so yeah, also this key switch here. So he got this bike out of a storage shed or something, had no key. So they got a new ignition, and you know, the other guy was working on it, never did get it started. He wired this into it. And he also has a Suzuki Katana that he wants to get running, and it doesn't have a key. So the reason this isn't mounted in here is because after we get this running, we want to take this out, put it in the Katana, and try to get that thing running. So here we go. You ready? Oh yeah, sounds good. Fuel pump's running. Yeah. Fuel tank has a pinhole in it. Whatever that is on the floor is not dripping out of the bike. That's when I was putting some coolant in it and dripped out of the funnel. And then you can see the overflow tube right here was dripping a little bit out. So far so good. Looks like it's got a little bit of oil dripping. Or that's just burning off of the pipes. But we reused all the gaskets, so it wouldn't surprise me if we had an oil leak, but I haven't started it since we did everything. So I think that's just the old oil burning off the pipes, because it was really pouring out there, if you remember right. So that'll hopefully quit smoking. But there you go. $9,976 miles. All right, let me shut it off, and we'll open the door too and let the smoke out. I'm trying to live a little bit longer. I've been breathing this stuff for forever, and it's definitely taking its toll on me, so I got to quit this, start treating myself a little bit better here, sacrificing for people who don't give a crap. So yeah, that smoke. So what happened before was, if you don't remember or you haven't been following along, you might have to back up. Somebody was working on this bike before me, never could get it running, but they had taken the valve cover off for whatever reason, and they put it back on with the old gasket, but they didn't have the gasket in the groove. It was like hanging out of the front. So when I originally started it and ran it, all the oil just poured down here on the exhaust all over it. So that's all still burning off. I didn't wash it off or anything. Probably should have took a little more care and washed all the oil off, but I like the old-fashioned way. I just burn it off. So yeah, that's probably what's going on there. It could even still be dripping a little because the owner didn't want to spend the money on the gaskets. He just wanted me to reuse the old gaskets, so that's what I did. And then I used some RTV for this gasket because they replaced the stator, if you remember, and they never fixed the gasket. There was a big leak in the bottom. Then I found out that the seals in the water pump, well, just the oil seal was leaking, but you have to remove the water side seal too in order to get to that. Back up and watch them other videos and you'll see what I mean there. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I see a little speck of oil down there, but what I'm thinking is that's oil heating up on the from the pipe and dripping off, because if you remember that other video, when I started it, oil was just pouring all over the pipe. So yeah, that'll all probably quit and get burnt off and so forth. But if that's all he ends up with, after all we've been through with this thing, he'll be in good shape. So yeah, I think all that kind of stuff is going to clear up. And then now I'm going to run it some more. I'm going to pull it outside and run it and let all that, like I say, burn off there. There's a tiny little pinhole in this tank and it's been dripping gas here. I don't know really what he wants to do, you know, there. But like I was saying, sometimes, you know, when I give him the bill, you know, he's like, oh, you sure you didn't make a mistake? Is this the right amount? All that. So I'm trying to do stuff that he can't do, and then he can have this and do the rest. And I got to move on to people that are waiting to get their work done and are happy to pay whatever it takes and not nitpick me about every little thing. So that really brings me down, and it affects me in a lot of ways. So yeah, I'm just, you know, what I'm trying to do is do what I agreed to do, get the thing running, get it, you know, right, and then a little stuff that he can do himself, he can take it from there. So because, you know, like I talked about, well, we'll have to take the tank apart and do the liner, you know, and all that to seal it right. And then immediately it was like, well, can't you patch it with JB Weld on the outside, yada yada yada, whatever. So I'll just let him deal with that. How's that sound? All right, guys. So yeah, key on. Okay, hang on. Sometimes these things are weird, as you all know. Sometimes you got to fiddle with it. Let's see if it'll go. There we go. See, that battery ain't any good, but it worked, barely. All right, guys. Another job done well by the Dragon with Dragon Works. Stay tuned to see the rest of the saga, what happens here. All right, guys. That's going to be it. Did you hear that battery? He's like, oh yeah, I got it working good. Okay. All righty. And then I did originally think that a lot of these wires here, I'll go over this real quick. I thought that, you know, these wires, some are obviously for the headlight that's missing. And then I was like, oh, these other wires must be the blinkers and stuff like that. That's not the case because they're in the mirror. And see, the wires are all hooked up for that. And a little while ago, when I was moving stuff around, I saw some sparks. So I tested them and they got, you know, like 12 volts on them. So I'm not exactly sure what they might be to, like they had a little marker light or something on it. I'm not 100%. I haven't checked it out, but this has like 7 volts. So there's wires here. I'm not really sure. I haven't traced the wires in the diagram, but there's more that needs to be straightened out. I believe this is all for the headlight here. So anyway, yeah, like I say, the saga continues, but I'm about done with this thing myself. Okay, guys, getting to be a long video. Once again, thanks for watching. You got the Dragon with Dragon Works. Peace out.